Imagine you are a warrior, preparing for a long journey through a dense, unpredictable forest. You have a sword for your goals and a bag for your provisions. But there is one thing you've forgotten, your shield. Without it, every thorn, every stray arrow, and every minor distraction can wound you. By the time you reach the heart of the forest, you are bleeding from 1,000 tiny cuts, too exhausted to face the challenge you actually set out for. In our modern lives, that shield is the word no. We are taught from a young age that yes is the word of opportunity, of kindness, and of growth. We are told that saying yes makes us a team player or a good friend. But we rarely talk about the high cost of a yes that is spoken out of guilt, fear, or obligation. A yes given to someone else's priority is often a silent no to your own soul. When you lose the ability to say no, you lose the ability to govern your own life. Let me tell you the story of Kyle. Kyle was a talented blacksmith, known for his precision and his kind heart. People from all over the province came to his forge. But Kyle had a problem. He could never say no. A neighbor wanted a gate fixed for free. Kyle said yes. A traveler wanted a horse shot in the middle of the night. Kyle said yes. The local lord wanted extra swords in half the time. Kyle said yes. Soon, the fires in his forge began to dim. He was working 18 hours a day, but producing nothing of true quality. He was constantly tired, irritable, and his own masterpieces, the legendary shields he dreamed of forging, remained unfinished in the shadows. He was a master of metal, but a slave to everyone else's demands. One day, an old master blacksmith visited him. He watched Kyle run frantically from one task to another, dropping his hammer in exhaustion. The old man picked up a piece of scrap metal and held it in the fire. "Kyle," he said, "why is this metal weak? Kyle, why is this metal weak?" Kyle wiped the sweat from his eyes. "Because it hasn't been tempered, master. It hasn't been hardened by the right pressure." The old man shook his head. "No, it is weak because it tries to be everything. It wants to be a nail, a hinge, and a blade all at once. To forge a great shield, you must reject the impurities. You must say no to the weak iron so that the steel can remain pure. Your life is the same. You are trying to be a bridge for everyone to walk on, but in doing so, you have forgotten how to be the fortress." This was Kyle's epiphany. He realized that no wasn't a wall to keep the world out. It was a shield to keep his purpose in. To reclaim your power, you must understand the Stoic concept of the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius believed that our mind should be like a fortress, a place where we decide what is allowed to enter and what is not. When you say no to a distraction, you are not being selfish. You are exercising the discipline of focus. You are guarding the sacred space where your best work and your true self reside. This requires the art of letting go. You must let go of the disease to please. You must accept that your value is not measured by how useful you are to others. If you are only loved because you always say yes, you are not being loved. You are being utilized. True authenticity begins when you are willing to face the temporary discomfort of someone else's disappointment in order to preserve your own integrity. In the world of Zen, there is a deep appreciation for the void. A room is only useful because of the empty space inside it. If you fill your life with everyone else's tasks, you have no space for your own existence. Saying no is how you create that sacred emptiness. It is how you allow your own silence to be heard. Kyle began to change. The next time the neighbor came for a free repair, Kyle stood tall. He looked the man in the eye and said, "I cannot do that for you right now. I have my own work to complete." The neighbor was shocked. There was a long, heavy silence. Kyle felt the familiar surge of guilt, but he didn't fill the space with excuses. He just stood there. Eventually, the neighbor nodded and left. In that moment, Kyle felt a strange, new sensation control. He had reclaimed his time. He had polished his shield. With his new boundaries, the quality of Kyle's work returned. He worked fewer hours, but with 10 times the focus. He finally finished his legendary shields, the strongest in the land, not because he worked harder, but because he stopped working on things that didn't matter. Remember, your yes only has value if you have the power to say no. If you say yes to everything, your yes becomes a hollow promise, a currency that has been devalued by inflation. But when you say no to the trivial, your yes becomes a rare and powerful gift. Reclaim your shield today. Understand that no is a complete sentence. It doesn't need a justification. It doesn't need an apology. It is the sound of a soul coming back to itself. For it is only when you have the courage to protect your own light that you can truly illuminate the world.